Hi everyone, today's video is for key workers. I decided to do some fragrances that I think are suitable for key workers, and in particular I've picked key workers that have to be maybe a little more thoughtful or discreet about their fragrances. So my cat has instantly come over to investigate what is going on here. So I've picked fragrances for key workers who are perhaps doctors, nurses, carers, or even teachers. So key workers that need to be a little more discreet and perhaps wear something closer to the skin and maybe a bit comforting as well. So all these fragrances fit that brief a little bit. This is going to be a tag video. I would like to tag a few of my fragrant friends, my reviewer friends, to do this video, but I'd like them to do it anyhow they want. So whether they want to pick a specific fragrance for a specific key worker, whether they want to choose a particular group of key workers like I've done, or they can do it any way they like, but just the theme of fragrances for key workers. So without any further ado, my first key worker fragrance is Mia La Perla, this one here. And this is a perfect fragrance for people that want to keep their fragrance quite discreet and very comforting. This one really doesn't project that well after the first 20 minutes or so. To me, it smells like an orangey, ambery scent that's very powdery and close to the skin. There is mandarin in here. There's some jasmine. There's quite a few notes, but to me, it smells like benzoin and vanilla and musk. And it's just got this orangey feel to it. It doesn't feel like it's got a fresh citrus top. It just feels like the fragrance just has an orangey hue, just like the colour of the juice. But it's very soft and very powdery, and it really stays quite close to the skin. So it's perfect if you're in a position where you shouldn't really be stinking of perfume. And it's very comforting. If anyone does catch a whiff of you, it's going to be very, very easy on the nose. So I think that's a really good one. Plus it's quite affordable as well. You'll pay £20 to £30 for a bottle. Next then, Angelique. This is by Papillon Perfumery. This is a beautiful iris fragrance. It's got a kind of a green tinge to it. It's a little bit fresh, it's very cool, but extremely comforting. There's mimosa in here, iris. It comes off a little violet-y to me as well. The iris definitely has some violet hue to it, but it's very soft. It's kind of a little bit woody as well, very comforting and comfortable, but fresh in a way with the sort of greenness that you get with it. It's a really nice fragrance. It's not particularly loud, and again, very much suited to a nurse or maybe a teaching assistant, someone who wants to smell clean yet soothing at the same time. My next choice is Nice Bergamot from Essential Parfums. This is the freshest of the bunch I've got here. This is a really nice, fresh, it's bergamot, but to me it smells, when you spray it, it smells a bit like bergamot and grapefruit together. So it's kind of got that tart, bitter, reviving freshness that you get from grapefruit, even though grapefruit's not listed. In the dry down, it's very woody, but in a soft, musky, woody way. I believe there's quite a bit of ISOE super. That's what my nose picks up on in the dry down, but it's more than just that. It doesn't rely on ISOE. It's a really lovely woodsy dry down that keeps some of the freshness of the citrus top notes. It's a really nice fragrance and it's affordable for a niche fragrance, and great if you want to smell fresh and clean, but still something that's quite long lasting. This one is Fluffy Lemon Top, and it's by 4,160 Dews Days. This actually doesn't contain any lemon, but it does smell lemony. It smells lemony without it being too sharp or bitter. And then it's a lovely, soft, musky, slightly sweet, woodsy dry down. So ballpark similar, I guess, to nice Bergamot. But I feel like this one's a little more playful and a little more quirky. I believe there's some iris in here as well, I could be wrong. But it also has that comforting feel whilst being kind of fresh and reviving in the top notes. This is Dragonfly by Zoologist. This is watery, not watery as in it feels watered down, but it somehow conjures up a watery lagoon. There's a note of rain in here, which is probably what's doing that. Of course, rain is not an ingredient, but it's a clever trick by the perfumer to create a watery feel, and I think it's amazing. There's heliotrope, which is a floral that can smell almondy and vanillic and powdery. In here, it's not too sweet, and it seems to be tempered by some green notes. So this has a very natural feel and it's not too loud. It's soft and comforting, but very different to a lot of the everyday fragrances on the market. It's really unusual because of this wateryness and outdoorsy feel to it. Kind of comforting as well because of that heliotrope. This one's called Florentina by Sylvaine Delacourte. This is a beautiful, soft, musky iris, almond. It's got some light sweet florals, but it's mostly soft, musky iris and almond. It's really lovely, but innocent and cozy at the same time. Not too loud. Just, it's nice. It's got this nice sweetness to it without being too sweet. None of these fragrances are too sweet. They're all just a little bit of sweetness to bring some comfort, but not screechingly, too fakingly sweet. And this one's just so lovely and musky with some vanilla as well. It's really, really beautiful and comforting. I would say this one would be the perfect teaching assistant fragrance. I think all the kiddies will love their teaching assistant to smell like this one. This is called Pourpre d'Automne. Pourpre d'Automne by Maison Violet. They're a French house. They've revived a previous historic French perfumery. A group of 3 people have revived the perfumery and recreated some of the scents. Completely recreated. They're using the same formulas. So they smell classic yet modern. And Pourpre d'Automne is my favourite from the house. And it's a really gorgeous iris and violet. There's a theme here, quite a few iris violet combinations. This one has a cherry bakewell feel to it without being too sweet and too gourmand. It just has a hint of a cherry bakewell, so that almond cherry cake kind of thing with the violet. And then in the dry down again, it's kind of woodsy, musky. It's not particularly loud. For myself, because I don't have to be discreet with my fragrance, I would prefer it to be a little bit louder, but I get good performance. It lasts very well. Just doesn't project massively, So it's perfect if you are someone who needs your fragrance to be a little bit discreet. It's very, very pleasing on the nose and comforting, not too loud. This is a decant and it's Creed's Sublime Vanille. This is from their high-end line. I mean, Creed's high-end enough as it is. Then they go and release all these even more expensive fragrances. And Creed Sublime Vanille is a really beautiful, simplistic laundry musk vanilla with citrus opening. It's quite simple, but it's done so nicely. I think you probably want a doctor's salary to go out and buy a bottle, but it does smell really nice. You probably would only do 1 or 2 sprays because it's actually still got some presence. Just lovely, clean, fluffy, musky citrus with a fluffy vanilla dry down, but it's not cupcake frosting vanilla. It's not too sweet. It's very comforting, very easy on the nose. You're just going to smell like you've just washed your uniform in the best possible detergent and you've used extra comfort softener, and you're just really clean, and you've maybe used some nice body products. That's what this scent gives off. It makes you smell very well groomed and clean and musky. This is Sappho by Lush. This has quite a lot of presence to it, so you probably would go easy on the trigger. It's iris, some jasmine, some tobacco, some vanilla. It's fairly simple in its makeup, but it's so comforting. It's a bit rich, so it's not as light as some of these other fragrances. It's not as light and fluffy. It's got more density to it. But the iris in here, they use natural iris and natural vanilla. It's a very natural perfume, lots of really expensive natural ingredients, and they come together to create something extremely soothing, very long lasting. As I say, only 1 or 2 sprays because it is quite strong, but very comforting. Finally then, this is Mon Guerlain Eau de Parfum Intense. This is predominantly lavender and vanilla, but there's iris, there's some jasmine, there's some other light florals, and the base is some tonka. But really, to me, it's all about the lavender and the vanilla. Extremely comforting, really beautiful vanilla in here. It smells very expensive. It doesn't smell like the vanilla on a cupcake, vanilla frosting. It smells less sweet than that, much more expensive, and it's quite a bombastic fragrance. It's got quite good projection, so if you have to be quiet with your fragrance, you would go light on the trigger there, but it's just perfect for medical workers because it's so comforting, and I think that's probably what everyone needs, be it your colleagues or your patients. If you're going to smell a fragrance, it should probably be something light, fluffy and comforting, and that is exactly what this one does. So I think it's perfect. So those are my key worker fragrances for doctors, nurses, care workers and teachers. I think they are suitable for those particular jobs, if you are allowed to wear fragrance to work, of course. I would like to tag the queen of tags. We all know she loves a tag, and that's Rose and Jones, Lucy from Rose and Jones. I'd love you to do the video. I would also love for Ben from Talking Sense to do the video, and Josephine from Jeu de Rose. And then let's go over the pond to Hilary from the Bureau Nerdy Fragrance Reviews, because I think she would have a really good viewpoint on this. So they are my tags. I hope that you liked the video, and I will see you all in the next video.